guys, it's Miss Diana and I'm here to show you how to do the Beaded Dragon Craft that you got at the library. Here's what the finished beaded dragon will look like. And we've sent some written instructions for you and then also your supplies. So what you're going to do first is you're going to find the longest piece of cord. See, I've got this one right here. It's the long one, so I'm going to pull that out. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your dragon body color, which is the one with the most beads, because that takes the most ones. I'm using white so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And you're going to string 2 beads onto the longest piece of wire. So put 2 beads on here, and some of you may remember we did something very similar last year with the lizard keychain craft. So this is the same idea as last year, it's just much smaller because it's smaller beads. Okay, so now I've got 2 on there, and make sure that they're in the middle of the wire. So I'm going to pull that wire to where both ends are at the same point. And now they are in the middle of the wire. See, like this. Okay, now I'm going to take the left hand wire right here and I'm going to put 2 more beads onto that wire. Okay, now this is where it starts sort of threading them back and forth. So now I've got 2 more beads onto the wire. And then I'm going to take the right hand wire and I'm going to thread it the opposite direction. See how this is pointing this way? Now this one's going to go in going the opposite. Okay. Now I've got the beads and then I've got a wire on either end. Okay, now you're going to pull it tight. And you want to keep them even. You don't want to get one side longer than the other. It's really important that you keep the same amount of wire on both sides of your project so you have enough to go all the way through the project. Okay, now see how that made a little 4? We got 4 beads on there now. Okay, now we're going to add more rows to this, and you have a little road map to follow. On your paper here, it shows you here how many beads should be in each row. 2, 2, 5, 6, 5, 3, 3, so on and so forth. And so that kind of gives you an idea of how many, and then you can see the darker ones are colored in. Those are the eyes. So now that we've got 2 on there, we're going to put 3 beads, and I'm going to work again from the left. And I find it pretty easy just to pick up the beads with the wire. There's 1, 2, 3, okay. Now we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to take that other side and we're going to push it through the opposite way. See, it's poking to the right. Now I'm going to take this one so it pokes out to the left. Okay, once that's on there, and again, we pull it tight. Okay. Now, I'm just going to take you through the next one so you can see how the eyes go on. So, there we go. Oh. And you want it to be firm, but if you get it too tight, it'll tend to wrinkle up a little, so you don't want to go too tight with it. Okay. Now, we're going to thread 1 body bead, a black bead, a body bead, a black bead, and then a body bead, because that's going to give us a row that has eyes that way. Give me a couple black beads out here. Whoop. Got a few too many, but that's okay. Okay, so now take my left side, and I'm going to do a white one, a black one, a white one, a black one, and then finish with a white bead. Now I'm going to push it through again. Oh, remember this is poking out to the right, so now I'm going to come from the right and push it through to the left. And make sure you take it through all the beads. You don't miss any of the beads. Okay, now you're going to keep following your road map that's there in front of you until you get down to where the legs are. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and get to that point so you don't have to watch me string all these beads. And so for you at home that are following this video, go ahead. Now you do a row of 5 body beads, 3, 3, and then 3 body beads, and then you'll be to the point where it's time to do the legs, and I'll come back when we get to that point. Okay, now that we've got 3 rows of 3 beads after the head, we're going to do a row of 4, and then we're going to put a leg on our dragon. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Doing it the same way. We've got the wire pointing to the right. Now I'm going to come from the left, or from the right, and push it through to the left. Okay, and always remember, this is going to take a little bit more time than some of your crafts. It's a little more intricate, but if you take your time and you tighten things up as it goes, it'll all come together for you. But you gotta go slow, and you gotta keep tightening the wires up as they loosen up on you. That one got a little loose. You want them snug, but you don't want them to kind of bend over each other. So there we go. Now I've got a row of 4 on. Okay, so this is how we do the legs. I'm going to leave this wire right over here, and I'm going to work from the right first. Okay, string 7 beads on the right wire. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so now I've got 7 beads on the right hand wire. Okay, using the same wire, thread the wire back through 4 of the beads that are closest to the body. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to take the wire and I'm going to go back through those just like before. See, it's coming from the right, so now we're going to push it through those 4 going to the left. One, 2, I think I went out just a little bit here. Okay. Okay, and what that does is that creates sort of a loop with some beads in it, and then these beads are all on the wire. Okay, so now pull it tight and see how it creates a little 3-toed foot. Get those all on there the way you want them. Tighten it up, but see how far away it is from my body? So now you want to pull it all close to the body. So before you do that, you might want to bring it a little bit closer. There we go. Because we want that leg attached. There, now it's up close to the body. And now I have a leg. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Remember, it's 7 beads. Five, 6, and 7, and then we're going to go back and push it through the 4 closest to the body. I let go of them. leaving 3 for the foot. Okay. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we also want to bring that up close to the body. Okay, now your lizard has legs. Okay, now we're going to continue just like we did up the body. Now you can see on your sheet that it ends with putting on the legs. Turn it over and it gives you a full map of how you're going to finish the body. So kind of turn the map sideways so you can see it. You can see it's rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on this side. On this side, it tells you how many's in the row. So we just finished the row with it had 4 and then 2 legs. So the row right behind it has 4 and then 5, 5, 5, or 5, looks like 6, 5, 4, and then you do 2 more legs, then do 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, and you are done with the body. So you just follow your map and continue down the lizard until you complete the entire body. So once you've put on the legs, then you continue, like I said, with 4, then 5, then 6, then 5, doing one row after another the same way you did these rows up here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue that off camera, and then I will show you how to make the wings. Okay guys, now that we are back, you have finished your entire dragon body and you are ready to start your dragon's wings. I've went ahead and pre-made one so you can see what it will look like when it's finished. And then we're going to attach that to the body. But let's kind of quickly go over how to make the wing. You make the wing the same way that you made the rest of the body. So it starts with the 2 short pieces of wire is what you're going to be using. So you are going to start, and it says rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is row 1. Has 1 bead, just like the body of your dragon started. So you put your 1 bead on and move it to the center. And then row 2. Now I'm using 2 different colors for this. I'm going to do an outline. So on the outside edge is always going to be white, and then the middle is going to be pink, and that's what it ends up looking like. So when there's just 2 beads, they're both going to be white. So I'm going to string 2 beads onto my wire, and just like with the last, my wire is pointing to the right. I'm going to go from the right and point this wire to the left, string it through. Grab both of them, and we want to make sure that that's in the center because we want the same amount of wire on both sides when we're finished. So pull that down tight. Okay, now we're going to move on to the 3rd row, which row number 3 has 3 beads, which tells me I'm going to do 1 white bead, 1 pink bead, and 1 white bead. So I can have the pink in the middle and the white on the outer edge. Okay, now that I've got that on, I'm going to push this through. Just like the last ones, and now I have my 3rd row with the red bead, the pink bead in the middle. Row number 4 has 5 beads, so my outer edge is white, so that's 1 white bead, and then I'm going to do 3 pink beads, and then 1 white bead. It gives me a total of 5 beads on that row. And it might help so you don't get lost as you're going through this to make a little tick mark next to each row as you complete it. That way it's a little easier to follow along and know where you're at. You can also just count your rows. They're pretty easy to count. Okay, so once that one's in place, we now have our 4th row on. And you're just going to continue all the way through until you have a completed wing. And it looks like this. And then we'll come back once I get this one finished and I'll show you how to attach your wings. Okay, and a quick note that I wanted to make as you're making the wing part. One of the things that I've learned through the process to keep it from curling too much. Now you want it to curl up a little bit to give it that kind of a texture look, but if you want it to be a little bit smoother, as you come to the end of each row, take your wire and bend it inwards. So it tends to lay a little smoother that way. I kind of figured that out as I went through this one this time. Okay, so I'm down to where there's 4. I need to do 3 and then 2. So let me kind of show you how I've been doing this. There's, ooh, 1, 2, 3, 'kay, pull that one tight, and then when I pull it tight, I just take the wire and I bend it inward, so it's kind of pointing more up when I start the next row. And then ends with 2. I'm going to do both of those in the white. Okay, there we go. And then I want to tie that off. So bend my wires up and then do a double knot just like you tied off on the tail of your dragon. Okay, and then once your knot is in place, now all that's left to do is attach your wings to your dragon. Okay, so you've got these nice 2 long pieces to work with. Find the point where you'd like to put your wings. You can put them in front and behind the front legs if you want. If you'd like to have your wings a little further back on the middle part of the body, you can do that. I'm going to go just in front of the front leg, and then I'm going to go just behind. I'm going to go 2 rows down and just behind that front leg and pull it through. There we go. So it's attached right there. And then you just double knot on the underside. Oops. And then once that's knotted in place, you'll want to trim your wire down, and then any pieces that are still sticking out. Now I like to make sure that mine won't unravel by finding a pair of scissors. And then I trim my wire just a little bit shorter, and then take it, what's left of your wire, and you can weave it through some other pieces. So that way if the knot comes a little bit loose, it doesn't just unravel altogether. And then once you've got it woven through a little ways, then you can trim it to where it doesn't stick out any. But making it a little shorter before you weave it through does make it a little easier for you, but you don't want to make it so short that you can't work with it. So weave that through there, pull it tight, and then trim off the excess. And on this one, it's the same thing. You can trim this shorter, and then you're going to want to weave it through. and trim it down. Oop. There, weave it through. Oh. And then I take it through one more. Okay, now that it's all woven into place, there you go. And then you attach the other wing exactly the same way, and you will have your very own beaded dragon. And using this weaving technique, there's lots of different things that you can make with different size beads. If you really wanted to make a big one of these, you could make it out of pony beads. Just using different size beads and wire. The thing that you want to make sure of is that your wire is the right size to go through your beads. I had to look online to learn how the different millimeters of the wires will fit through the different size beads. So there are online guides for that. So I hope you guys have fun. I'd love to see what you create with this. And if you go on to create other beaded items, please share those with us so we can see what you guys are up to. Have a great summer, and we'll see you for the next craft.